Hi everyone, welcome back. I want to take a minute, and it's long overdue, to talk about the new battle system in Game of Thrones that was implemented in a couple weeks ago. I know there's a bunch, probably already some videos out there on this, but just gonna throw in my spin on it. The reason why they did that is because of awakening skills and just commander skills in general. Um, Prior to this update, if you were to put all infantry commanders in your attacking army, that fifth infantry commander would not use their skill. Um, I'm not exactly sure the mechanics of the reason why that wouldn't work, but it wouldn't. So it was always a rule of thumb that you would put four infantry commanders in with a bowman or some other troop type commander, so at least that commander popped off their skill and actually contributed to your fight. But with the new revamped battle system, it negates that. So regardless what commander you have, you could do all five infantry commanders in your marching army, and all five commanders would use their skills, their awakening skills. They would contribute to the battle, and in fact, they actually lead a portion of the troops, even though it's not their same troop type. Now that doesn't mean, if I'm sending all cav in, I'm going to put all spear commanders, because that wouldn't be wise. Because the reason why you match up commanders with the troop types that you're sending is to grant them bonuses or specializations is what the game likes to call it. So if you look at each commander and if you study each commander, and we'll go look at one right now. Say, for example, Julian. You see the specialization tab up here. This is what Julian will offer to your attacking army. And Julian is a particularly good one because he offers infantry attack, cavalry attack, and spearman attack. The only thing he doesn't offer is bowman attack. So for a marching army, Julian is not a bad choice. So specializations is what you want to pay attention to when you're choosing commanders for your attacking army or your defending army as well. So let's go back to the reports. See if I can find one without screwing it up. Is this the one? Yes, this was the one. So if you look over at the battle record, this will tell you detailed information on the battle report of what went down at each second of the battle and who attacked who and who did what. So on the left, this is the ally, and this is the enemy. So in this particular case, our ally was attacking an enemy castle during Lord of Lords Phase 6. This particular player was a T3 player for the enemy. Our ally is a T4, so the battle didn't last as long as it should have. Um, One, because this player just wasn't really geared right to begin with, and our player was pretty battle hardened with T4s. But the rule of thumb is that all battles last 45 seconds. Now, the only reason why they wouldn't last 45 seconds is because the enemy or the allies' troops would all be killed. So in this particular case, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, the battle only lasted 16 seconds because the enemy had no more troops. Our ally killed him. So what this means is if we look at the total amount of troops, so there was 100K T1 or Royal Infantry, there was almost 500K Royal Cavalry for Warlord. So if we look at that, those portions of troops are are divided up into fifths. So 1/5 of the infantry that was sent, which would be what, 20,000, is being led by Seg. 1/5, 20,000, is being led by Murel. 1/5, 20,000, is being led by Kevin. 1/5, 20,000, is being led by Leanna. And then another 1/5, because you have to have a 5th line, is being led by no one because Warlord didn't didn't choose to put a fifth commander in there to lead those troops. And that doesn't mean that they don't perform any better than they normally would, because T4s are T4s. What that does mean, though, is that he only has 4 commanders that use their active abilities during the battle, and the fifth commander is not there, so you don't get that active ability to pop off. On the other hand, the enemy has a full 5 commanders, so all 5 of these commanders will activate their active abilities through the course of the battle. So it's more damage. So it's always better to have 5 commanders versus 4, 3, or none, right? Because the more damage you can do, the better off you're going to be. So back to the troops. So they're divided up amongst one fifth amongst each commander, and same with the cavalry, divided up 1/5 amongst each of the lines. Same with the enemy. The enemy's Rob is controlling 1/5 of the infantry, cavalry, spearmen, and bowmen. Same with Sansa, same with Chris, same with Varys, and same with Arya. So they're all divided up into 1/5. So just because Rob is a cavalry commander does not mean that he only controls the cavalry in his line. He controls all of these troops. He leads all of these troops into battle. And then this is the wall here. So what happened during the battle? If you really want to check, you hit this arrow right here. And this arrow will give you a second by second, play by play mock-up of what happened during the battle, the course of the battle. So at the 1 second mark, the ally had this many troops, the enemy had this many troops. Seg popped his awakened skill, offering total attack of 13%, total defense of 13%, and total health of 13% for 10 seconds. Then at the 2 second mark, still the same amount of troops before. Looks like something happened and the ally lost some troops during this bracket. So let's see what happened. D2 lineup. Okay, this is the enemy. The enemy's bowman attacked the infantry, which is the attacker's front line. He lost 4, lost 4, lost 4, lost 4, and lost 5 because all 5 lines attacked. Okay, at the 3 second mark, nobody lost anything because this is where the ally was attacking the wall. The wall was losing durability and losing fortifications. At the 4 second mark, the ally lost 22 because the ally was still attacking the wall and the enemy was still was the enemy bowman was attacking the infantry again. At the 6 second mark, this is where the magic starts to happen because the wall's down. So the enemy started losing troops and started to lose 7K at the 6 second mark because the ally cavalry attacked the enemy infantry. Cavalry attacked the infantry, and at the 7 second mark, the ally lost a few troops, but the enemy lost a lot more because all of the lines started attacking at that point. Line B, B3, A3, B2, A1, A4, A5, and so on and so forth. So you see how this works. Excuse me. At the 8 second mark, ally lost 7, enemy lost another 11,000. The 9 second mark, ally lost 7, enemy lost another 1,500. 10 second mark, ally lost nothing, and the enemy lost 13,000. The 11 second mark, the ally lost 1, the enemy lost almost 4,000. 12 second, 18, and 3,500. The 13 second mark, the ally lost 127, the enemy lost nothing. So you kind of see how this works. So what does that mean? And what you see down here is actually commander skills popping off. So the enemy annihilated. Actually, no, that's it was saying that the enemy was annihilated. So line 3, which was Chris in the enemy line, cannot use their active army skill anymore. So what this means, if if this line gets eliminated, let's just say we're talking about Chris. So if this line, line 3, gets eliminated, then Chris can no longer use his active army skill. So he no longer contributes to the battle. So if this line is completely eliminated, then that means whatever line was matched up to fight Chris actually doubles up on the next line. So it kind of works like the training ground or the werewood or any of the other rebel leaders or anything like that, because you match up commanders to counter the other commanders, and when that line defeats the line that's directly in front of them, they move on to double up on the next line. And that's kind of how the battle, the battle works right now. The the battle mechanics work now at this point. Before it was just everybody against everybody. You lost a front line, the front line moved to, you had no more front line, they moved to the damage line, they moved to the fourth line, they moved, so on and so forth. Now it's more like, well, if Rob gets taken out of the battle, then Seg moves to attacking Sansa with Muriel at the same time until that line is eliminated, and then those two move to the next line and they double up on Chris's line. And then when Chris's line gets destroyed, then everybody gangs up on Varys and Arya. So that's kind of how that works. So I hope this was a little bit informative, to kind of show you, one, how the new battle mechanic works, and two, how to read these reports, because sometimes they can be a little bit confusing. But one thing I wanted to highlight is we've seen Seg's commander skill, his awakening skill, get popped at the very beginning. Let's see if anybody else is. Yep. So Seg popped a skill here, and the enemy lost 386 spearmen. And at that point, Seg's awakening skill had had deactivated because it only lasts for 10 seconds. So let's see if anybody else popped a skill. So now Chris was eliminated, Varys was eliminated, Sansa was eliminated from the enemy, Arya was eliminated, Robb was eliminated, but only after Muriel of the ally popped his skill, killing 3,308 bowmen. So not a lengthy report, but if you were to get a lengthy report that lasts the full 45 seconds, you would see where commanders were activating their abilities, troops were dying, things were happening. Um, so at the end of the battle, what this sums up down here is the infantry casualties from the ally, how much was lost from the enemy, the actual loss, which I'm not exactly sure how that's calculated, but 239, 239, so it's an actual loss. I'm guessing that may determine certain commander skills. Like I know that certain commanders like Lats bring some back. I don't know if that has anything to do with that actual loss versus the infantry casualty loss. Um, and what happens at the end of the report, you're out of the losses that are gained. Let's say let's take a look at the infantry loss. A portion of that would be wounded. Same with the enemy. A portion of this would be wounded if it exceeds the hospital capacity. So I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to go back and look to see if it exceeded the hospital capacity. So yes. So he had, out of that battle, 60,000 wounded and almost 8,000 were killed, because apparently the hospital capacity was near full, or that player did not have hospital capacity. So hospitals are very important. especially when defending. But that's kind of how you read it. They're matched up in lines now, and it's not just everybody against everybody. All commanders use all of their abilities all the time, regardless if you have them of all commanders of the same troop type. So that's the big difference here. Now, what this is, what I like, how I like to think about it is it's similar to the training ground. So it's the same battle method. So the training ground front line gets eliminated. So that row of attackers moves to the next line, and they double up on the next line. That's why I always say in the training grounds or werewood, whoever loses the first commander first usually wins, because at that point hard to it's hard to fend off two against one at that point. But any questions you guys got on this, let me know. I'm still kind of trying to master it myself, but this is kind of what I found out up to this point.